Kristen here with me today. I'm so excited to be on with you guys today. Kristen is one of our Fertile Method clients who's had amazing success in the program. Started out with a little bit of a difficult journey with PCOS and a lot of gut health issues and things like that. But I think her story is really going to resonate with a lot of you. And sometimes it's good to just hear from other people and get some hope about, other things outside of medical intervention like IUI or IVF can really help your infertility and the different struggles that you're having to conceive. So I'm happy to have Kristen on today. And Kristen, thank you for being here with me.
Thank you.
And I'm going to turn it over to you. If you, just wanted to maybe start with a brief introduction and about, what your life was like prior to coming to the Fertile Method.
Yeah. So my name's Kristen. I joined the Fertile Method in, end of January time. And honestly, best decision I ever made. Truthfully, these ladies are amazing. So I think if you're interested in natural remedies and natural health and not always doing the Western medicine side, this is the place for you. So I could just kind of start, but kind of my fertility journey. So I was on birth control for 14 years. I started when I was like 16 because of like really heavy cramps that would like keep me, out of school and heavy flows and stuff. And, no one ever tells you any side effects. You're like, bam, magic pill, you don't get cramps, and all your heavy period symptoms go away. And just
and nobody addressed that wasn't normal, right?
Yeah, nobody told me anything. They just said that's part of being a girl. It runs in my family, and you just deal with it, right? So I thought nothing of it. So 14 years goes by, and I'm starting to think, I have my long-term partner, and I'm like, okay, I want to, get off this. I know it takes some time for your body to recalibrate, but I thought your body would kind of figure it out. So I went off so I was 16 when I started, and I went off of birth control, like I was around end of my 29th year. And my periods started up perfect. Like they were 28 days. Everything seemed good for like a few months, and I'm like, oh great, I can now naturally cycle track, and this is like totally fine. And then after every month or so, they'd get further apart and just they stopped. And I was so confused because I started out going, well, I know they would be all messed up at the beginning and then get better. Why is it fine and then getting worse? I don't understand. So I really struggled to figure that out, rabbit hole after rabbit hole of looking online. Had no idea what issues I had. Doctors didn't really care because I wasn't like actively trying to conceive for a full year yet. So they're like, it's fine. And I'm like, I just want to be healthy. I want to figure out why am I, not balanced. So that was a really big issue that I had and I struggled with. And then looking more for natural remedies online, there's just so much. So much. They're like, take this pill, don't eat this, don't work out too hard. Other things said, no, you need to be doing, CrossFit. And I was so confused. And so
going down the rabbit hole of Google is so hard.
It's so confusing because it's like, oh, and then all of a sudden I learned there's like multiple types of PCOS. So when my doctors finally listened, and I had to fib at the doctor's office. I had to be like, they're like, oh, have you been trying for over a year? I just started saying yes.
You just wanted help.
Yeah.
No one was listening to you until you said that, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't a full year. When I switched doctors, but I was like, well, they won't listen to me unless I say yes. So I just said yes. And then they started actually doing tests and checking for PCOS symptoms or insulin resistance and that sort of things. And another like important thing is I have so I'm lactose intolerant, and which developed in high school, and I'm also I have like IBS, and that randomly decided to pop up like in my early 20s. So never thought that was connected. So that was also like strange. Like I didn't realize, like now looking back, and I'm like, this is now like a thing I'm into, is all this natural medicine, but your gut is really your second brain, and
Oh my gosh,
you
it's
gotta
so true.
listen to it. And boy, it's crazy because of how much I used to eat sugar and chocolate and bacon, and like I'd be like, I would rather die. Like I just want to eat what I want to eat, and I thought I would never change, and it's come full circle. So it's really really cool, and I'll share that part in a little bit. But
I
yeah,
remember in your consultation,
yeah,
and you were so nervous because of your gut history with gut
yeah,
health. You were so scared to eat different things, and how different was it going to be, and you were so nervous, and I totally understood it and could relate
yes,
with the gut health issues. But I also remember you feeling like, or saying that you know that you need to get something under control, but you were also like very scared, which is understandable.
yeah, yeah. It's like so I had the colonoscopies, I had the endoscopy, like all the tests that were like, you're fine, like no microinflammation, and I'm like, I know this group might be okay with TMI, but like I was going to the
We do all
bathroom like
TMI here, you know us.
I was going to the bathroom like 10 times a day, and I'm not even joking. That's probably an understatement. I'm a wildlife biologist. There's no bathrooms where I work. I'm out in the field, so that was fun. So I was like, I got to figure this out. I used to have to get up extra early to plan my whole bathroom habits, and even being, at work, I'm planning where the next bathroom is. It was ridiculous. It
Yeah,
was so annoying.
that's
Um,
hard.
so I'm like, man, I'm like in my like, you know, late 20s. I'm like, this is what I'm dealing with. This is ridiculous. So yeah, I was really worried about that. And um, I've tried all of like it's a FODMAPs. It stands for some chemical chain thing diet that I was
The
trying to do.
oligosaccharides, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes foods would irritate my stomachs, and other days they didn't. Like apparently beans or overripe bananas. I couldn't tell. I could not find anything stable with that. And so this program really helped. Just like, let's back it up, cut everything out, and like add back in. And it really helped. And one thing I want to stress, that like, because I'm someone who kind of like dilly dallies about like, oh, should I sign up for this program or whatnot. Usually, like I do that, like especially with working out. Like it's like, oh, there's this 3-month CrossFit program, and I beat around the bush. I don't do it, and then 3 months goes by, and I'm like, man, if I started then, I would have been done. And something with this program, I was like, you know what? Money comes and goes. It's fine. Like all if nothing works, I learned how to eat better, and I couldn't see a problem in that.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad the second I learned about you guys, which was a Facebook ad, by the way, just popped up.
Oh, wow, okay.
Um,
I always am curious how people found us, and you're originally Facebook, okay. It's usually
yeah,
Facebook, Instagram, somehow on.
yeah, it was Facebook with me just searching around like what is PCOS and PCOS groups, and then you guys popped up as like a recommended page. And it just so happens because like, and I got a few other pages like after that, and I was like, oh, which ones do I choose? Both people seemed pretty real. This seems like a good program. Some other programs were like focusing on, maybe I have parasites, and let's do a whole parasite cleanse. And so again, that was like hard to figure out, like which one do I choose, right? But I'm so glad I just jumped on it, and it got me to where I am now, instead of being 3 months delayed, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely. It's work, and it is scary, and I appreciate you talking about that, right? Like the
yeah.
fears of going into something. It
Mhm.
is scary. It's also, times are changing. It's on the internet.
Yeah.
You're not seeing somebody in an office. I mean, we have our office, but we're not, we do everything online, and that's scary, How
Yeah.
did you overcome that?
Just when you guys had that, initial, like, meeting for, you're kinda doing your spiel, you just sounded really genuine and real, and not a scammy, because I was worried about scams and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, it just made sense, and I just was like, yeah, it's seems expensive at the beginning. But like it's worth it. It really is. Especially if you want to better yourself. And boy, I can't tell you like how much I don't crave sugar, like except for the little bit of pregnancy cravings now. But it turned off. I can't believe it. I was someone who's adamant about I can never stop eating cookies. Every day I have like a sleeve or something. And I think something like also clicked in my brain where it's like, well, you can care about your cookies every day, or you can care about, the greater purpose, having a child and stuff. And something just switched in me, and it worked with working with you guys. So it was great.
I'm so happy. It's so exciting.
Yeah. So things just become more important than eating that piece of sugar or dairy, whatever,
I know, right? But that's not your fault either. Like, you had a lot of gut health issues, and your gut was the reason that you were craving all of that.
Yeah.
You needed to heal your system. I mean, and you did so much work on healing your gut. I mean, and it's important for everybody to know that this doesn't happen overnight. And we're very honest with that in the consultation. Like, it took your body time to get here, and it is going to take time to heal.
Yeah.
But the results are really life-changing, and it becomes a lifestyle. The majority of the women that finish this program, they're like, I can't stop doing this because I feel so different. I feel so good. And, I mean, you're living proof of that. Your life is completely different.
Definitely. And it was like at first so slow, like counting every week, like, oh, I got through week 1. Oh, I got through week 2, and agonizingly slow. And then like, yeah, you can't expect, like, if you've been treating your body poorly for 30 years, you shouldn't, it's not fair to expect it in a week or 2. Right. So, I didn't really feel significant effects until after the program and continuing with it. So you really have to just hold on to that and push through when you're like, nothing's happening. I'm not losing weight. I'm not this. Like, oh my gosh. Also, like after the program, like still continuing for a little bit, I was dropping weights like really well.
Yeah.
I at my worst, so I'm 5'2". I was at like 150, 152, and I got down to like 132 after this program. So that even the doctors were like, yeah, that's probably helping your, the insulin resistance or whatever's going on. So it works. You just have to stick with it.
We always say that the weight loss is like the bonus to the program, because we don't by any means, market this as a weight loss program. But there's so many things in our system, right? The inflammation, the gut health, obviously the way that you're eating, in your situation with the insulin resistance and all of these things that make us gain weight and hold on to it. Once you start to heal those hormone imbalances, it starts to come off. And we always say that, like, that's like the icing on the cake for it, right? Like the little added bonus that comes along. But yeah, it's all about balancing the hormones. And, for you, it was healing the PCOS and the insulin resistance. And then, everything just fell into place, which was so great. But I appreciate you saying that it wasn't like right overnight, and it doesn't happen like that. Some people feel like a lot of